Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Mash and Drum Whiskey Room Wednesday night. And boy, do we have a night. Not only are we trying some crazy whiskeys tonight, I was able to get some samples of some really great stuff from people, but on top of that, was able to get a few different samples, some new samples that just arrived in the mail this week as well. So we'll be able to kind of go through that, give some first impressions as we head into the new year. Man, it's gonna be a fun night. Plus week 3 of Blendageddon, American Whiskey Blends, a special guest judge waiting in the wings, ready to go tonight. But we have a lot to get to before we get to Blendageddon. So before we do that, I just want to say thank you for all the support this year. Again, happy holidays. And I'm only saying this because I don't know. I'm definitely not going to be live next Wednesday because it's Christmas night. It is a Christmas Day on Wednesday. It's crazy that we're 1 week away. So I won't be obviously live Wednesday night because I will be cooking and having dinner with Kim and my mom. So that's going to be a pretty busy night. Now, New Year's Day, maybe I'll be live. We'll have to see if anything's going on. But that could happen, but definitely not next week. So chances are after tonight, I won't see you till next year. So cheers. Thanks for being here, guys. And yeah, we'll just buckle up. It's going to be a fun night. Let me say hi to some people in the chat here. We have JG is in the house, who also has a blend, the runner up from last year's Blendageddon tournament. Just missed it by a hair. He's got a blend tonight in the competition, so we'll see how well he does if he can make it far again. Let's see, EJ is here. What's going on, EJ? Whiskey Nose, happy holidays, everyone. Big Vic is here. Of course, Big Vic's got a blend tonight. I'm very scared. It's a bunch of Amburana in it, but we'll see what happens. 1 more week till Christmas, so I need to be on my best behavior, says Randall Erickson. What's up, man? Eric Thompson is here. Let's see. Andrew Bergstrom's in the house. Interested to hear your thoughts on the River Roots and how it compares to 2024 GTS and Russell's Reserve 15. That's an interesting comparison. We'll have to. I don't know if I'll do both, but I'll do one of those for sure. Excuse me. Let's see. Warren Smith is here. We have let's see, Eric Thompson. That's me. Look who's here. Nancy, the legend, the nose. Captain Rancio or Princess Rancio, however you want to. I don't know what title you prefer, Nancy, but you are here and I appreciate it. I cannot wait to get into this Tanager tonight and see how it is. Nancy in the house. What is up? We got Jonathan Faulkner here. Nathan Jurgensen. What's going on, Nathan? Let's see. James Lay, LFG. Everyone saying hi to Nancy. Let's see here. We got Adam Hess is here. Let's see. Michael Speakerman. What's going on, Michael? Nice to see you, man. Robert W is here. We got Mike Daly. Michael Whiskey Dirge in the house. What's going on? Nice to see you as always. Top Jimmy is here, and a big shout out to Top Jimmy, who actually found me the Still Lost in Tanager and sent it to me. So Top Jimmy, thank you so much for being not only a great human, but a great supporter of the channel. I really appreciate you, buddy. 4-Leaf Whiskey, Stacy. Guys, Irish whiskey. You want to know about it, learn everything about it. All the things. You should be watching 4-Leaf Whiskey. Thanks for chiming in as always. Roger Reese is here. Russ L in the house. We got Josh Fritz, Adam Hinson. How is Flo Rida doing, my friend? Dr. Sped in the house. He's got Michter's 10 rye in the glass tonight. Oh, the rye this year is really good. I'm not sure for the 24, but it's very good this year. Bo's Wine Guy is here. What's going on, buddy? We got Jay Will Drink, A-Brod, Sandeep Chima. What is going on, good sir? We have Tony Bag of Donuts, Mary Grinchmas Pork Chop. Thank you so much. Appreciate that so much. We got Wendy is here. Let's see who else. I'm just kind of rolling down the chat here. Make sure I'm not missing everybody. Tim Romero, Isaac Camacho. What is going on, buddy? Cool Running, GW Gamble. He also has a blend in the running tonight. We'll see how he does. Jeff Perkins is here. Let's see. Ben Drammond. What's going on, buddy? Nice to see Ben here. Jeff Perkins, the bourbon coach. Salute to you all. Time for the man. Roscoe P. Coltrane is here. What's going on, buddy? Let's see. Chad Sagert's here. Ladies and gentlemen of the bourbon community, I salute you. Love it, Chad. Let's see who else is here. We got Dustin Bocek is here. Rare Breed, Jingle Drams, let's go. Karen B. Ford, what's going on, Karen? Nice to see you as always. Whiskey Juice, Paul P., Dan Bourbon is here, and a bunch of other people I need to catch up to. So I'm just going to scroll to the bottom. Damian Williams is here. What's good? Aaron C. Can Top Jimmy find one for me? I don't know. You're going to have to ask him. Sean Holtgrave is here. What's up? Krista G. She's in the chat hoping her, well, I'm not going to say, how do you say, so if Krista G is the better half, then what does that make Jay? The worse half? The not so better half? That's a nice way to say it. Krista G's is her not so better half, and JG has a blend tonight, so she's probably cheering him on. And what else? What's up? Carlito Classico is here. What's going on, man? Hustle and Growth in the house. What is going on, man? Master and Drum. Salute. Cheers, man. JG almost half. That's how we do. Let's fill those Glens up, everyone. That's right. Okay, so tonight, what are we starting with? The bottle that confused the hell out of me last week, and I think I confused everybody watching. I hate to even bring it up again. The Elijah Craig Toasted Bourbon Barrel Proof Single Barrel Selection. That's right. They do exist. I found one when I was in Kentucky over the weekend, and just so you guys can see it, here it is. There it is. Hold on. Let me grab that. Okay, there it is. The private barrel. So this is a 10-year private barrel. Now this was selected by Evergreen Liquors in Bardstown, or Evergreen Liquors just in Kentucky. There's a couple locations, but see, that's it. This is why I thought it was a rye. The color has like this bluish green hue, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, there's no rye, but I thought it was a rye. But they do exist, and I literally walked in the store, and I'm like, oh my god, we were just the entire chat was completely just ripping me over this because I didn't know what the hell it was, and then people in the chat didn't know what it was either. So I do want to give a big shout out to Jeffrey Gamble for sending me a sample of it, even before I got that bottle. So I'm going to try his. Now I did try my bottle in Kentucky. Somebody else bought it, cracked it open. It was very smoky. It definitely had those toasted characteristics, but I want to see how this one compares. As far as proof goes, Jeff's sample is 121.3 proof. It's 9 years. I think that says 9 years, 2 months, maybe, or 9 years, just 9 years. So, and mine's 10 years. So we'll see. But I got to say, look at the color in this thing. Pretty dark. Check out the pour cam there. Look at that. Nice and dark. Kind of digging that. Let me brighten this up a bit. There we go. All right. Those toasted BPs are amazing, says James Lay. We have a few toasted B picks in Arizona. Haven't bought one, though. For those in the Atlanta area, Tower and J&J both have picks currently. Been traveling today and found them. Nice. All right. So let's dive in. Guys, let me know what you're sipping on in the chat. Welcome in. Buckle up. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus, all the things. Let's just celebrate tonight, hang out, and have a good time. All right, let's see what we got. So this is definitely less smoky than the bottle that I had bought, and I kind of like that it's less smoky. I don't mind the smoke or the barrel char, but sometimes it actually comes off like almost like a barbecue smoke. Not really getting that here. John Farron is drinking RD1 Amburana. You know what, John? I'd totally like razz you right now, but the RD1 Amburana is actually not too bad. It literally tastes like apple pie. So I'm not going to say I like it, but I definitely don't mind it as much as others. So good choice. Yeah, that marshmallow note is pretty prevalent here. You know, you feel like if someone's going to do a toasted barrel and it'll work well with their distillate, I feel like Heaven Hill's kind of a perfect candidate because their stuff comes out, pretty oaky, not overly oak though. And you got that nuttiness I think goes really well with the marshmallow. Celebrating American Single Malt Day, Stranahan Blue Peak. Is it American Single Malt Day? I had no idea. Probably because I live in the world of American whiskey, but that's a good little tidbit. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, definitely some oak here. I get a little bit of a ginger snap cookie, molasses. Yeah, that like toasted burnt mark. I'm starting to get the barrel char now. There's definitely a little barrel char here, or even if you want to call it, charred burnt marshmallow. That's what I'm picking up here. All right, let's give it a try, guys. Cheers. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Here we go. That's definitely toasty. Yeah, this has all the things: gingerbread, toasted, borderline burnt marshmallow, a lot of spice, kind of a hint of like a what's that? What is that flavor? Um, it's a it's a specific nutty. It's not almond, walnut. I'm almost getting like almost like a toasted walnut note in here, which is interesting. Don't really eat walnuts a lot, but there's something about this that's reminding me of like a walnut liqueur a little bit on the back end of it, which is kind of interesting. Jason, what kicks is Santa bringing you this year? So yeah, Matt, I got right now. I have on the way. I got the Jordan One Low trophy rooms, which my mother got me for Christmas. So, mom, if you're watching, thank you. I had to kind of help her track those down because she has no idea what they are. So she kind of purchased them. So now I'm just waiting for them to deliver. So excited about those. As far as anything else, I think that's it. I think I might buy myself a pair of sneakers for Christmas, maybe. I'm hoping to hit on the Travis Scott Low Velvet Browns this weekend. We will see. See if we get lucky on Saturday on the Nike sneakers app. So we'll see how it goes. But that's probably be the one pair I really want this year. What kicks did Grinch have on? Grinch doesn't have any kicks. That's a good idea. I'm gonna buy him some little Jordans. Yeah. Now the oh, Nathan Jurgensen, the walnut. I could definitely see the walnut on the Tanager. I did take a little sip of the Tanager a couple days ago, but I wanted to give it some airtime so I could give it a proper review tonight. Yeah, this is very similar to mine. It's sweet, marshmallow, a lot of spice. Big and bold, has a lot of oak. Again, it has that barrel proof feel to it. Good heft on the palate. These are nice. Like if I'm going to drink a toasted barrel bourbon, it's going to be barrel proof like this. I really dig this. The toast isn't overly heavy. The smoke is there, but I feel like it comes through in the way of toasted marshmallow and not that bitter, weird aftertaste that I get a lot in other toasted bourbon. So for me, this one's really good. It tastes very similar to the one that I got, the 10-year. I will say they do drink a little hot in the beginning. I'm not sure. Now, toasted bourbons, double oak bourbons tend to open up a little bit better over time. They kind of get a little bit calmer in the bottle. Maybe it'll tame down a little bit. But yeah, these are good. Now, I paid, I think it was $110 for mine. Do I like it at $110? No. But, toasted, barrel proof, Elijah Craig, people are gonna snatch these up as fast as they can. So Nick Foles, the black cement threes. Yeah, I just got a new pair of those, man. I did hit on those, so I cannot wait. Yeah, Nathan, these toasted picks, I think, has a chance to do that. They definitely drink hot. Now, as far as out of balance, I think it depends on how much smoke is there versus how much sweetness. This one, I think, actually has a good balance. The one I bought, I think, is very heavy on the smoke to me. So we'll see if that dissipates over time a little bit. But yeah, this one in particular, I think this sample from Jeff, I think, is actually a little bit more balanced than mine is. But they still drink hot. They still drink a little bit hot. They're definitely a little tannic. But that marshmallow note, if it goes by way of a little bit too burnt and bitter, that could probably ruin it. But this one has a better balance. I just think, it's all dependent on the single barrel you get. But I think overall, people are gonna like these, especially if you're a fan of toasted bourbons. So there you go. I'm gonna have a little sip of water from my moose mug. We have 287 watching. Not too bad for the week before Christmas. Everybody hit the like button while you're coming in. Jason C, what is the Nike shoe count up to, and what are the kicks tonight? I probably have like 40 something pairs. Probably 40 something. I don't have like a crazy collection. I'm very selective, like I said. Tonight, I'm rocking the this is one of my favorite, the Travis Scott mochas, the original mochas with the red laces for Christmas. These are a couple pairs of my favorite shoes that I have, and I think I've worn these before. And I told you I traded whiskey for these shoes, so it's a great deal. Oh man, Binny's has them for 80 out the door. I got one from Woodman's, and it was almost smoky. It was also smoky. Yeah, CJ, I think that smokiness is going to be kind of a ubiquitous note going through all of these. So you have to be ready for a little bit of that smokiness there. Panda dunks, yay or nay? Johnny 5, I'm not a panda guy. I don't really dig on the pandas too much. I'd rather just buy a pair of black and white Jordan low ones. Are those kid size shoes? Big Vic, they're 10.5. Sorry, I don't have your giant avocado feet that you got. Vic's feet look like two loaves of bread coming out of the shoes. Jesus, man. Did you trade Bland's? I did not trade Bland's. Jason's Richie Z. Thank you, Jason, for all you've done for this community. Dude, I appreciate it, man. So JC has like 20 bottles of whiskey for each pair of Jordans. Something like that, Top Jimmy. Something like that. All right. Let's get to the next sample. I actually want to go through some quick news stories because it's going to lead into the next sample I want to try here tonight. And that gets into this one. Speaking of single malt day, now this is American single malt, but an interesting release from Town Branch here. Kentucky whiskey brand unveils oldest bottled and bond American single malt ever released. So Town Branch is releasing a 15-year bottled and bond Kentucky single malt whiskey. It's the Archive Series, Volume 1. Suggested retail price of $400. So $399.99. It will be available at Town Branch Distillery in select states across the U.S. Their primary distilling operation of Lexington Brewing and Distilling Company, the only brewery and distillery on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. This is the first release in Town Branch's Bottled and Bond Kentucky Single Malt Whiskey Archive Series, which will be composed of some of the oldest American single malt and whiskey in the world, all distilled, aged, and bottled by Town Branch in Lexington. So there you go. Now, here's the thing about this bottle. Most consumers are not paying, $300 for that. It's just not going to happen for American single malt. I don't care how old it is. But what I will say is I would like to try it, though. I would like to get a sample. So Town Branch, if anyone's watching, want to send me a sample of that, because I want to taste a 15-year American single malt, because Town Branch was, they were on that train way early in the game before everybody else was. And they were distilling. I mean, who knows? Maybe other people have some stuff that's that old, kind of, waiting in the wings, probably like Heaven Hill, maybe some of the other big distillers. But Town Branch has been actively bringing out American single malts for a little while here. So the fact that they're bringing out a 15-year is surprising. But yeah, I don't think anyone's buying a Town Branch for like $300. It's a little bit pricey there, but we'll see what happens. There's actually only 108 bottles of this. So there's barely any bottles, which I guess makes sense for the price point. I'm sorry, 300. I'm sorry, it's 400. $400. Yeah, nobody's paying 400 for that. So, but we'll see. Maybe some people will. Depending, the tasting notes sound great. On the palate, spice bread, herbal tea, mature oak, cloves, peppercorn, stewed apples, caramel, honey, and melon. But the nose has a lot of dried fruit, raisin, plum, candy green apple, citrus, floral, brown sugar, oak, and candied pecans. The nose sounds better than the palate. I wish some of those flavors from the nose would go over the palate, but yeah, we'll have to try that one. But yeah, I don't think anyone's paying $400 for that bottle. Real quick, Penelope has announced their newest finished release called Havana. And this one is probably going to be another popular one, just like the Rio. So on Tuesday, Penelope Bourbon unveiled its latest whiskey, Penelope Havana. It's a double cask finished, matured in maple syrup and rum. So the syrup barrels were initially used to age Penelope bourbon, then aged maple syrup before being used for Penelope maturation once again. This is much more than a rum finished bourbon. It's a standout in our collection of cask finished bourbons, says master blender Danny Polisi. Havana brings Penelope's 4-year-old 4-grain bourbon, which is distilled from a mash bill of 74 corn, 16 wheat, 7% rye, and 3% malted barley. After its initial 4 years, Penelope Havana matured in Caribbean rum cask for a year and was then finished for an additional month in the maple syrup barrels. Bottled at 93 proof, this will be a limited allocation of 4,500 cases and a suggested retail price of $79.99. So, so a couple of things there. One, you're going to have some young whiskey in there, about 4 years old, plus the aging time or the finishing time, I should say. But I mean, when you're dealing with rum and maple syrup, I don't really think the age matters much. Knowing Penelope, that thing is going to be drowning in whatever finish that is. And if you do it right, it's probably going to end up being a big favorite like Rio, just tasting like straight up candy. So we'll see how that shakes out. Let's see. Is this source? Nope. Pass. Madness, in my opinion. Yeah, it's all theirs, apparently. The American Single Malt. What's up, John Cloud? Nice to see you. I actually do want to, going back to the town branch. I don't know if you guys heard, but now I've talked about it on a few videos that the American Single Malt, I forgot if it's the American Single Malt Whiskey Association or I forgot what their full name is, but they have been proposing, standardization of American Single Malt for the last several years. They've had, a good plan in place, what the law should be. There's great room for creativity, great room for expansion in the space for other distillers. And I don't know if anybody heard, but it actually just got passed. It got made, like, we now have an American standard for American single malt whiskey, which for the category, it's big. It's big for American single malt to have a standardized rule of law to create American single malt. It's a big deal. That means that whatever your feelings are with American single malt, this means that American single malt is now recognized amongst the other American spirits, near and dear to the category. So bourbon, rye, American single malt, there are now rules and standardizations for it. And for anybody that went, like Town Branch, that went, neck deep in getting into American single malt, this is huge news for everybody. So if you're a producer, you make an American single malt and you've just been waiting for this, congratulations. It's a big deal. So we'll see what exciting things come down the pipeline for sure. Let's see. Yeah, it's very, very long time coming for sure. Jason Coates, absolutely. They've had the kind of the laws in place for quite a while, so it'll be interesting to see. Okay, and lastly, last quick story here, and one that we'll dive into here on this because I got kind of a preview sample for it, and I think I am allowed to talk about it. I think it said immediate release. Boom, there it is. Heaven Hill has announced on Thursday the fall 2024 release of Old Fitzgerald Bottled and Bond Kentucky Straight Bourbon. This bourbon has an 11-year age statement and was made from barrels distilled in the fall of 2013 before being bottled in the fall of 2024. Clocks in at 100 proof. This will have a price of $154.99 as far as a suggested retail price. And usually, these pretty much hit. These pretty much hit Heaven Hill. They do make it to stores most of the time, but usually they're jacked up in price because of that beautiful decanter bottle that it's in. So with that, I do have a sample. So I'm going to pour a sample of this right now. We're going to try it. Why not? 11-year Old Fitz weeded goodness from Heaven Hill, because I'm on their media list now. They sent me this. You want to know what else they sent me? Probably one of the coolest things I've ever received from a distillery. No joke. You ready for this? So I get this box. So you see that immediately. You're like, oh, maybe that's a sample of the A124 Larceny bourbon about to come out next month. Okay. I'm sorry, A125. That's right, A125 next month. So I'm looking at, I'm like, no, actually, they usually send full bottles of those. So I don't know what this is. So I open it up. It's a Lego set. It's Legos. You can build this larceny bottle out of Legos, and then like you build the little glass with the cocktail on top, the little accoutrement, if you will, the little cherry, little orange. It's amazing. I don't know, dude. This is so cool. I'll show you kind of like this is what the bottle looks like when it's done. So I didn't even realize it was Legos. I thought it was the coolest thing. I was like, what the hell? That's so cool, man. Yeah, Lego whiskey. I'm all about it. All right. Yeah, Legos, man. I was so blown away by it. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a really, really cool idea. So all right, let's get into this. This should release, in the early new year. So a little bit of a preview. Now, you guys know I'm not really that crazy about weeders, but sometimes these old Fitzes are absolutely hitters. It depends on what it is. I was not a big fan of the 8-year that came out. I thought it tasted young. So let's see what 11 years looks like. Interesting. For an 11-year, I get a ton of leather-bound books on it. There's definitely a kind of a, there's definitely you could smell the wheat grain, I think, a little bit. Definitely weedy. It's very light, honey, vanilla, light caramel too. It's got a nice little spice to it. A very, very subdued, almost hint of strawberry in there. It's not super bright, but there's a little bit there. It's crazy how much like leather I'm getting on this. Kind of crazy. All right, let's give it a try. Here we go. It's spicy for a 100 proofer. At least that sip was. Yeah, this has really. I mean, this is pretty typical of what you would get, but spicier than I would think that a typical wheated bourbon would be. This brings the spice. This brings a lot of black pepper. It's got the sweetness. You kind of have like this velvety vanilla that kind of starts up front. You get a lot of spice, little black pepper there. I could even argue like a ginger snap cookie here as well. And yeah, that leather note is crazy. Yeah, second sip was even better. This has a nice little mouth coating for 100 proof. Um, the back end is definitely drying. I think that heavy leather note that it has definitely gives you a dryness on the back of the palate. So you have to kind of be ready for that. Um, yeah, that's spice. It's very spice driven, which I kind of dig for a wheated bourbon. But as far as like, what my thoughts are on this isn't one of the better old Fitzes I've had in the past. Like the 25th anniversary that released early this year blows this one away. But if you like a more spicier driven wheated bourbon and a little bit more leather on it, you'll enjoy this one. However, if you do find it, I would not pay more than retail for this. It's good. It's it's kind of what you would expect, but not what you'd expect in a wheated bourbon, especially in old Fitz. It's kind of missing that elevated sweetness. I want more sweetness from it, especially from a wheater, but it brings a lot of spice, a lot of black pepper, again, the ginger, a lot of leather, and it's a little bit drying on the back of the palate. But I do appreciate the front of the palate and how oily it is for a 100 proof whiskey. So that's my quick take review. Is it better than country ham? No, it's not better than country ham. It's funny. I think my Tanager also had a hole in the bottom. Every time I reach for it, there's less than I remember. Okay. Um, let's see here. Okay. One more sip of this one. All right, so man, I have a couple more samples here. I wanted to get into this Garrison Cowboy 2024, but I know I wanted to try the River Roots and then get into this Tanager. Before we do this, you know what? Let me get into the Tanager here because I really want to kind of get into this, break this down before I have more whiskey that's going to kind of, you know, I don't think anything in here is going to shift my palate quite a bit, but you know, I haven't had too much whiskey yet, so I definitely want to dive into the Tanager because from what I remember, it's pretty complex, and I kind of want to break this down for you guys and kind of, you know, let you know what to look for, what not to look for. I mean, Nancy Fraley's in the chat. You could probably ask her all the questions you want, but as far as what I'm tasting, then, you know, we'll go through it here. Jason, I have no interest in Bookers as of December 2024. Do they need to do something different next year? Yeah, dude, make them all the reserves. Like the reserve was what, a 10, 11-year Bookers? That's what they all should be. Stop giving us 7-year Bookers barrel proof. There's just not enough variation in them anymore. Make them all 10 years, 11 years now. Just saying, do it. I know it probably goes against the grain of maybe what Booker No kind of believed in, but I'm just saying it's one of those things. That's what they, because the Booker's reserves I thought was actually really good this year, but you compare it to a regular Booker's, the regular Booker's isn't even close. So, all right. So, by the way, guys, really quick, let me back this up. This box is gorgeous. So let me put the bottle cam on here because you guys got to see this. So this box comes in this like this beautiful. So this is magnetized right here. It's got this hole in the box, and then when you open it, it just has this beautiful artwork. Look at that. Now, if I remember correctly, the Tanager is a type of bird. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Is a Tanager? Not sure I'm saying that right, but I mean, the artwork in here is absolutely gorgeous. Still, Austin always has incredible artwork. You could kind of see it and feel it even when you walk around their distillery. But that bird, I believe, is the Tanager. And if you see that up here, that nest that's right there in the top of the tree, you can there's a callback to it on the bottle too, which is pretty cool. But just a beautiful presentation for this. I was really blown away about how beautiful it was. I mean, you know, there are so many. This bottle was what, 150 retail, and there are so many whiskeys that you pay so much more for, and you don't even get a presentation like that. So, and then as far as the bottle goes, I'll show you the bottle. So here is the Still Austin Tanager bottle. Again, beautiful sticker presentation, the Tanager front and center. There it is. Here's the cork topper. I told you about that nest. So here's the top of the cork. Has the nest right on it. Look at that. I mean, the attention to detail, it's gorgeous. Really, really beautiful job by Still Austin. I mean, they always kill it with the bottle designs. I absolutely love it. So yeah. So let's get this poured. Now, here's the thing, and I'm sure Nancy Fraley can chime in on this. I've talked to folks that have been asking me about this, and they think that because it's kind of marketed as a cigar blend whiskey, they automatically think that this is finished with what? Cognac and sherry and port and kind of the typical things that we know, that Nancy kind of brought to the table with the Joseph Magnus cigar blend. But that is not what this is. So just to kind of go over the details here, I do want to pull it up. So this is a blend of red, white, and blue corn bourbon distilled from 100% Texas-grown grain. It's an expression of true creativity and craft whiskey. This is aged for 5 years in the turbulent Central Texas climate. It's been meticulously balanced through the ancient processes of slow water reduction and petit O, I think that's how you say it, or petit U. Forgot how you pronounce that, Nancy. I'm sure I'm butchering that. The result is a unique bourbon which combines heritage with the spirit of creativity. So now Nancy has talked about this on the channel before, how this slow, this ancient blending technique, the petite U is means small waters. It's, you know, it's been used for centuries in Cognac, Armagnac, and those regions of France. It's really, it's slowly adding water to the whiskey. It's basically barrel aged water that you're adding slowly to get to a specific proof. And it brings out better versions of the whiskey. It's pretty incredible. So I think now Nancy probably won't admit to like really creating this, but she did bring it to the States, I think. So if she says, no, I didn't, you did. You brought it to the States, Nancy. So so basically it's bringing spirit from cask strength to bottling proof by adding water in small increments over time. Again, French brandies use it, and they use it here. Still Austin uses it. And Nancy Fraley has actually implemented this in other distillers that she works with, including Iron Root and others as well. So it just brings slow water reduction, just brings a big impact to the whiskey, especially at a younger age. And a lot of folks have adopted it. And I think more and more people are adopting it. Oh, you got it right. Petit. Oh, pronounce O. Okay, petite O. Okay, there you go. All right. So let's give it a go here. There's a lot to unpack in this whiskey. Now, if you were listening earlier, I did refer to Nancy as Princess or Captain Rancio, whatever she wants to, whatever moniker she wants. And because the reason why I called her that is because she talked about Rancio a lot when she was on the channel. We were kind of going through the aromas that developed. Rancio is basically this flavor in brandy that develops over time. It could bring a lot of dried fruits, nuttiness, tobacco, but sometimes even give off like a rancid quality, which is why they call it Rancio. But I think, Nancy has kind of found that within a lot of the brandies and some of the older Armagnacs that you get that you can find. So bringing that to a American whiskey, I think was a big goal of hers. So, so not so much in the finishing space of doing a cigar blend like this, but just doing it with 3 different corns, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So, all right, let's dive into this one a little bit. Let's see what time we got here. All right, we're on schedule. All right, here we go. I think that Rancio, that note, the almost this nuttiness, this I talked about like a walnut liqueur earlier. I think there's some of that here too. My grandfather used to drink a walnut liqueur. I think it was called Nocello, not limoncello, but I think it was called Nocello, I believe. And I think it was a walnut liqueur. I remember everybody pouring that in their coffee. That's what it kind of reminds me of. But make no mistake, the nose is very fruit forward. Man, there's just so much going on this. And I think people like try this and they're like, oh, I get all the Armagnac and stuff. I'm like, no, you don't. There's no Armagnac in this. It's kind of an Armagnac distilling style, but no Armagnac. Getting like a little raspberry jam. Man, that nuttiness is nice. Almost comes off like a Madeira wine a little bit, which I think is really, really cool. It's very concentrated on the nose, but it's also very different. If you're going to go in thinking that this is going to be like a Kentucky bourbon, I think there's some of that there, but it's also not that. All right, let's give it a try. Cheers. The palate is crazy. It's really unlike a lot of things I've tasted, at least recently. It's very buttery. That Madeira, like nutty, like liqueur, I get all day long in the back of the palate. It's very mouth coating. Even even being, what is that, 106 proof. It's not a super heavy proof, but it's got, it's very mouth coating. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we've been jammed a little bit, but not so much on the palate. I was getting down the nose. The palate, though, man, this is so rich and so dense. It gives me like Italian fruitcake vibes, where there's like this bready, sweet, nutty, but fruit forward, like dried fruit type of component. But it was like soaked with Madeira liqueur, and that nuttiness just carries through to the back. This is a different animal of whiskey. It almost also has like this. What is that on the back end? It's like raspberry infused balsamic vinegar on the back end, like balsamic glaze with like nuttiness. Bandon Bourbon says, "Remember when we saw this drop in Louisville?" Yeah, me neither. Sorry, Brian. Yeah, it gives you like fruitcake vibes, but it's definitely almost like the roasted chestnuts. This is so good. So here's the thing: at the end of the year, when you're kind of, how old is it, Jay? This is only 5 years old or 6 years old, if I remember correctly. Let me double check here. Yeah, it's 5 years old. But again, you're talking about Texas. You're talking about that slow water, the slow water reduction that happens in it. I mean, yeah, figs, dates, honey. Nathan Jurgensen, absolutely. I could definitely see figs with like that balsamic glaze on it. The honey, the dates, almost has like a baklava type vibe, in it, like that dessertiness to it. This thing's crazy. It just keeps going. Now, yeah, so for this up against some bigger proofer whiskeys, I don't think it's gonna, I don't know if it'll hold up at 106 proof. But again, I think this is one of those whiskeys, and we've talked about this, just to enjoy it on its own. Stop trying to compare it to everything, because I don't really think it's going to stand up to a lot of like those mega proofers. But I do think it's more of a unique pour than we've seen from a lot of stuff that's come out this year. It's extremely unique. It's very rich. It's very dense. The flavors are sweet, nutty, honey, almost acidic in some ways on the back end with that. It's just like that balsamic glaze note with that raspberry. Not acidic, I should say tart. There's a tartness to it. It's really, really nice. Jason, that nutty, fruity, and aged balsamic vinegar quality is more from the Petite O than it is from the 3 mashable profiles. And 5 years is the minimum age, of course. Oh, 5 years is the minimum age. Okay, there we go. So there could be some older stuff, guys. Just saying. But yeah, I appreciate that, Nancy. That makes a lot of sense. The balsamic vinegar quality is more from the Petite. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's crazy how you can just pull that out of a whiskey. Really, really loving this. So if you guys come across this, do not pass it by. If you're more, I'm not going to even say you have to be an experimental drinker, because I think anybody will love this. But even if you have an aversion to Texas whiskey, this will change your mind immediately. I think Still Austin has done that for a lot of folks, especially in the past year or so, with the amazing quality whiskeys that they're bringing to the table. But this is kind of on another level of flavor and richness. And it's, if you've experienced really old Armagnacs and brandies, there's some of that going on in here. And I think we know why, because Nancy Fraley was obviously involved in doing this. But I love this. I absolutely love this. I think it's different. It's unique. This could be a top 10 contender this year, just because it's so different and it's so unique, man. I'm digging this one. Well done, Nancy. I like this a lot. Man, kudos. I'm going to have to go back to that. I'll definitely do a full review on this, guys, because right now there's a lot to unpack in this whiskey. And I just want to sit with this whiskey and this whiskey only for like an hour and just taste it and try to unpack it all. So, all right. Before we get Blendageddon going, I am going to try one more sample, because people have been clamoring for me to try this whiskey. So For our highest end whiskeys at Still Austin, we're actually trying to slow down the maturation so we can eventually have 8 to 10 to 12 plus year old whiskeys. So Nancy, with the extreme heat, like what's the thought there? Have you now Nancy? So honest question, Nancy, and you can let me know in the chat. Let all of us know in the chat. 394 in the chat watching, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out tonight. Make sure you hit that like button. You've been to India. You've seen how they kind of mature their whiskeys. I think you did a project. I know that there's that thought and idea of people aging underground. I'm not sure people in Texas are doing this yet. Any thought there as far as like maybe, I don't know, maybe you go underground with the aging so it's a little cooler. I mean, we see that overseas. Any thought about doing that here in the States, especially with Still Austin? Just a really honest question. Aging in a walk-in cooler. I mean, and like, look at Ben Holiday. Ben Holiday has that cave that they use. It's a lot cooler in there, and they'll throw the barrels in there for a little bit. But it's got to be aged somewhere that's not gonna, mess with the flavor of the whiskey. Because I think Maker's Mark uses that limestone cellar, and I think it makes their whiskey sour a little bit. So, I mean, that's what I think. I don't know. Yeah, for science. I mean, yeah, Maker's Mark is underground, but it's in the limestone cellar, but not underground. I mean, like underground, like dig a hole and go down there. Yeah, I'm just saying. I just think there's something to be said for that. Maybe, I don't know. All right, agent at Busey's, Bucky's. All right, so maybe we'll try the River Roots a little later here, guys. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to it. You know what? I might just do kind of a full review on it, or, well, maybe I will try it. But let me try this Garrison Cowboy first, because everyone has been asking me to try this whiskey. They think it's a 2024 Whiskey of the Year contender, and I mean, when people are giving it high praise, we got to see what it does here. Plenty of tunnels already dug in Texas. Yep, the whole thing is to have cooler, more damp maturation, but you can also add some water to the barrels to slow things down. Still, we're really looking to retard the maturation for long term. Okay. Yeah, I think if you kind of get to a point with Still Austin where those numbers get high, that will be a pretty cool accomplishment, I gotta say. So, all right. Yeah, I heard the Yellowstone ending wasn't that great. I gotta catch up. I think I know what happened, but I kind of have to catch up and watch that. All right, so this is the 2024 Cowboy Bourbon. This is, let's see. Okay, I'm on their website, Ascot Awards, blah, blah, blah. This year's 10th anniversary release will be 10,750 milliliter size bottles. Every release was at least 6 years old. Finally, it was barrel proof. Straight from the barrel, unfiltered, uncut, cast strength, 140.2 proof. Oh, dear Lord. All right, I'm not going to drink too much of this, but let's see what we get here. Oh, this smells like Texas. It smells like dirt. It smells like that dusty barn floor a little bit. But it also has a lot of chocolate too. I kind of like the bitter chocolate note it has. A lot of bitter chocolate, actually. Chocolate, molasses. It's actually more like fudgy than anything. Like that dark chocolate fudge you get. It kind of has like that smell when you walk into like a confectioner, like a chocolate maker. I don't know what you want to call it. A dessert store. I don't know, what do you call that? Chocolatier. That's the fancy way to say it. When you walk through the doors of a chocolatier, I just offended every like chocolate dessert maker in the United States. Like anywhere, like, when you walk into like a chocolatier's place and you smell like fresh fudge, fresh chocolate. It has a very distinct smell. I'm not really sure how to convey that, but that's what it smells like. Yeah, but it's kind of it's kind of, and you kick the Oompa Loompas out of the way. Yeah, it's kind of just, but it does have like that Texas funk on top. So let's give it a try. This thing is weird. It's it's Texas funk, then it's chocolate fudge, then it's like bitter, um, fresh cut wood, and then it's like raisin and fig on the back end. That thing takes you for a ride. I could see why they call it the cowboy. Jesus. Sees oh Big Vic sees candy, bro. There you go, sees candy. Second sip was better. I didn't really get that. Well, that fresh cut wood note is still there, but it's not as off-putting as it was in the first sip. Um, yeah, I could see why people would like this. It's extremely dense. Not as much coffee, but I'm definitely getting the fudge notes. I think there's some fig, some raisin there for sure. The Texas oak is strong with this one. You have to like that Texas funk because that is Texas funk to the freaking 13th power. So if you like that, then you'll love the cowboy bourbon. That's something that I would probably like every now and again, but I wouldn't want to drink every day. Um, oh, Jason P, I agree. It's very sweet, but there is a definite fresh cut wood note in it that kind of offsets the sweetness. For sure. And you know what? The more you drink it, the sweeter it gets. That like fresh cut wood note is starting to go away now. It's just starting to turn into like that wood, that funky Texas oak that it's got. Then there's a lot of just raisin, molasses, that chocolate fudge, that fudginess it has is really, really interesting. Wow. I would have to I have some left. I'm gonna have to try that again. I'm not sure if I'm having a hard time deciphering if I really like that or not. I did not like it in the beginning, but now it's like growing on me. I don't know if it's the flavors or because it's 140 freaking proof. I mean, Jesus. Two guys drink bourbon and rise. I met the distiller too, and he was cool as anything. Garrison's one of the most consistent brands I've seen in their store picks, and special bottles are very good. Yeah, the more I'm sipping this, the more I'm digging this. This is really nice. I can see why people really like this. But I'm not gonna lie, there is a good amount of that Texas funk on it. But once you get past it, the chocolate fudge that it's got, and the little bit of raisin and fig on the back end with the proof and the heft of it, that's pretty freaking delicious. I could see why people would like that. But if you have an aversion to Texas whiskey and that Texas like oak funk, then you're not gonna like it because it's got a lot of it. And maybe just because I haven't had something like that in a while with that much Texas, funk rubbed on it, whatever you want to call it. And drinks under proof, says Rizzle D. Yeah, I think as I was sipping it, it doesn't really feel like 140, which is kind of a dangerous proposition. But I'll be honest, I was never a huge fan of Garrison. I always thought their stuff was just very, very funky and a little bit too much on the oak and that sawn wood note. And I got that more often than not in a lot of their products. But I think lately, some of the samples folks have been sending me, including this one, I could see it starting to maybe mellow out a little bit. Maybe they're starting to figure it out, trying to kind of mitigate that really harshness a little bit and just bring it into more of a sweeter profile. You could just kind of keep leaning on that chocolate fudge and that raisin, that plum note with just a little bit of that Texas funk. Yeah, you got something. It's unique for sure. Yeah, if your palate is genetically inferior and you don't like the strong oak, genetically inferior. I don't mind oak. I mean, you guys know I like oak. I just don't like oak to the point when it gets overly bitter and it gets almost mossy. That's what I don't like. And when it kind of gets into the oak profile. All right, so I have two more samples I'm going to do here before we bring on our special guest for Blendageddon week number 3. I said I was going to break into this River Roots, and I'm going to. So this bottle was released at the gift shop, and I had a buddy of mine, Rob, pick this up, and he was kind enough to pick this up for me. Hopefully, I could get this thing open. Oh my god, I can't even grip this thing. Are you kidding me? Oh, I got it. They really hide that tab in there. All right, so this is the infamous, the popular, the trending Buffalo Turkey from River Roots. But not just River Roots, other distillers have it as well. So we're going to do a little comparison. We're going to see how different these barrels actually are. I also have the 15-year Buffalo Turkey from Sealbox as well. So Sealbox really kind of released it, kind of mainstream. Now let's see what the differences are here. So this Sealbox 15-year is 122 proof. This River Roots is 15 years and 8 months, and this comes in at 119.54. So they're pretty close. Now, basically the story goes is that 15 some odd years ago, when Wild Turkey was building their new still was being installed, they had Buffalo Trace distill some whiskey for them. It got aged, it came out, and I've heard different stories, but apparently the one that I've heard the most is that Wild Turkey exactly wasn't happy with them, so they just kind of sat in the Buffalo Trace warehouse, and they made it to the open market, and people, no pun intended, have been gobbling these up all over the place. So, so it's basically Wild Turkey distilled by Buffalo Trace, and I think it was aged at Buffalo Trace, if I'm not mistaken. So now there's just a bunch of single barrels out there. They're all ranging from 15 years. Now some of them are getting up to 16 years. This one's close to 16 years at 15, 8 months. So they ran both the old and new in tandem, says Rarebird. Oh, so he says it's not true. All right. So whatever the story is, maybe they're telling this story just to help sell these barrels. I don't know what the hell's going on. But so let's see. Pretty sure that the River Roots was a very short barrel. I don't know, man. I wouldn't put it past it. Like, remember, well, that actually wasn't true either. There was that whole rumor a few years ago when Foregate was releasing their foundation, and everybody thought that was Wild Turkey, but it actually wasn't Wild Turkey. It ended up just being, I don't think I could say what it is unless people know what it is, but all right. Rarebird, the fill dates I've seen have been before Campari owned Wild Turkey. It's definitely Buffalo Trace distilled. I suppose it's just contract whiskey. Hard to say for sure. That's the thing. That's kind of the going rate. I've talked to some barrel folks, and they do say that this was apparently for Wild Turkey. Now, whether or not, I mean, I don't know. We don't know Buffalo Trace's high rye mash bill. Is it the same or close to Wild Turkey? Or, I don't know. I mean, you could look at like no slippage between the stills. I mean, that's fine. But if for whatever reason they're asking people to contract whiskey for them and we don't know what happens to those barrels, then why is this out there? I think there's a lot of questions to be asked. I don't know if we'll ever get a definitive answer. But all right, here we go. It was likely for another client, says Rarebird. Could see that. I'll say this: the River Roots is way more concentrated. The Seal Box has had a lot of airtime. I mean, we crushed this bottle at the Bardstown Blitz. But it's definitely super sweet. It is very, very super sweet. I think it has all those flavors that you would expect. It's got a very, very rich cherry component. It's got a lot of vanilla. It's got some oak there, but it's not overly oaked. I feel like on the River Roots, there's more oak coming to the forefront here. Oh, man. That drank a lot lighter than I thought it would. Big Vic, I did not see that bottle of the Blitz. That's because you sat in your seat the whole night. I didn't see you. Batch 2 rolling out this week. Maybe move single barrels rolling out turn of the year. Says, oh yeah, that's right. Brian Brennicky, thanks for from Abandoned Bourbon. There is going to be, if you guys are interested in this, Sealbox is releasing batch 2 of their 15 year. And Brian, is it still 15 years? Is it up to 16? Or is it a little bit older than this one? Or is it the same thing? But River Roots out here in Cleveland, they got a bunch of these barrels. Wow. This is definitely a little bit more concentrated than the Sealbox one. The Sealbox one is brighter, sweeter, and actually fruitier. The River Roots leans more on the oak, the caramel, the richness. There's almost like a, I feel like there's a nuttiness there too. Man. I think it's a little bit of a better finish on the River Roots too. Again, the Sealbox 15 has been open for quite a while. It's oxidized quite a bit, but the River Roots one is really good. Again, River Roots is an interesting company. They're just buying single barrels. They're not blending. They're not doing any of that. But the difference that River Roots is doing is that they are hand picking barrels. Normally, you buy lots of barrels. They come in. You're not really sure what you're getting. River Roots is getting to taste each and every barrel before they bring it in. So it's a little bit of a difference. And there's a premium, I think, price to that, which coincides with the prices of their bottles most of the time. Because this was $300. So John Vorney says River Roots is literally a 10-minute drive from my house. Oh, there's like a nice like dark fruit characteristic that just popped up on the River Roots. It's almost like a cherry grape combo. That's good. Whatever the story is on these barrels, these 15, 16-year-old barrels, Buffalo Turkey, whatever you want to call it, I do think they're worth seeking out. They're really good. They're super concentrated. I think even if your mind's playing tricks with you, where you think it has like some of like the Wild Turkey spice with the Buffalo Trace sweetness, whatever you want to think, I think there is some of that there. It's got a really nice balance of a sweet and spice. It's balanced. It's oaky. It's dense. It's sweet, and I think that's why so many people are loving these. You know, if it was contract distilled or to be meant for somebody else, who knows? That definitely does happen. To Rare Bird's point, but the Buffalo Turkey train is already off the rails. I don't know if we're going to stop that whole thing going down the train. River Roots. Haven't heard of River Roots till tonight. Definitely tasting every barrel. You would make a huge difference rather than buying in bulk. Would love to try that. Yeah, Nancy, if you wanna sample this, I could definitely send you some. Just let me know. Is the Sealbox 15 worth the cost? This one was to me. I thought it was freaking delicious. As you could see, everybody that tried some, this bottle was friggin' full when we went to the Barstown Blitz and put it in there, and then everybody started having some. I had to keep this away from Scott. He freaking loved this bottle. So yeah. I mean, if you're gonna buy it once, try it out. I think there's some merit there. If you have the deep pockets to seek these out and buy multiples, that's up to you. But having one in your collection, I think, is worth it. And I think what Sealbox has done, this one has a more of a super sweet candy effect to it. Almost reminds me of Stag 15 in some ways. Stag Junior 15 with that super cloyingly sweet palate. The River Roots, on the other hand, is a little bit of a darker type of experience. I like the River Roots overall. I just think it brings a little bit more of a balance. It's not so cloyingly sweet, but it's really good stuff. K&L's Buffalo Turkey 15 is only about $200. Yeah, guys, again, if you remember back to, do you guys remember the whole Jim Beam mash bill, the tote whiskey that was going around, that 75.5% mash bill that was everywhere? Hunt and Gather, Chicken Cock, all these different brands sourced that whiskey, and the prices were across the board. You could get one for like 120 at 15 and a half years, and you can get one. Then Chicken Cock was charging like $300 or $400 for those. So if you happen to see a 15-year, 16-year pick out there, most likely it could be this. I mean, where does this even say it's distilled? Does it say distilled in Kentucky? Let's see. Yeah, distilled in Kentucky. So if you see this stuff distilled in Kentucky, chances are it could be this distillate. But make sure you price check. You're kind of looking around, because I do think just like that, you're going to see random prices across the board. People trying to cash in on it because it's a high age statement. It's distilled in Kentucky. So there you go. Mm-hmm. The hunt and gather was great. Tim Cornay. No, this is not Cam's pick. This was a distillery release, or a bottle shop release, whatever you want to call it. But I do believe it was a short barrel, and it tastes that way. It's extremely viscous and concentrated. It's really good. It's literally has like this cherry grape like Tootsie Pop note on it. It's incredible. Okay. I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of that. Okay. All right. I think I tasted everything I want to taste tonight, guys. Now I got to freshen up my palate a little bit for week 3 of Blendageddon. That's right, guys. Space Ghost says whiskey's getting too confusing. Think I'll just stick with rare breed and live happily ever after. Space Ghost, that's not a bad plan. All right, guys. It's 10:11. We're going a little bit later tonight because I won't see you next week. So I hope you're buckled in, hanging out tonight. Grab a pour, because we're about to invite on our special guest judge for Blendageddon. That's right. It is week 3. We got a lot of hitters in the bracket tonight. A lot of people in the chat going to be going head to head. Trash talking may commence. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is week 3 of Blendageddon. You saw the names that are available in the chat tonight for, just trash talking. So you guys feel free to give them a little bit of a hard time tonight. I'm sure they're going to be trash talking with each other. And with that, I want to bring in our special guest judge. This special guest judge has been kind of a favorite of the Mash and Drum for quite a long time. Not only do they have the #1 podcast in Bourbon, but also have created a incredible brand called Pursuit Spirits. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the blending judging contest. The man, the myth, the blender of Pursuit Spirits, Mr. Ryan Cecil.
Heyo, man.
Heyo, what's going on, buddy?
Feel like is that movie opening Christmas Day? With that intro?
It's opening right now. It's tonight. It's happening.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Oh, really happy to be here. Am I echoing or feedback or something?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, really excited for this. Got to do this last year. It was a blast. I was really, there's some wacky blends in here, which is always fun. And but there were also some really delicious blends. So I'm really excited to do this again, and it gets my creative juices flowing. And I love seeing Nancy in the chat. I really could talk to you about for an hour and a half about all those whiskeys you reviewed. I have a lot of thoughts, comments, but I know we're here for Blendageddon. So.
Well, do you know anything about the Buffalo Turkey lore?
I mean, you pretty much know what I know. I mean, you said the River Roots has an opportunity to hand select barrels. I find that very hard to believe, but
Okay.
Just given, our dealings with the source market and whatnot, and but maybe they have some arrangement that I haven't heard of, but that's pretty much what you said. I can't confirm or deny if the turkey still was down or up or down, but it's just funny, a lot of marketing terms in there with the Buffalo Trace contract still and people.
I know. Well, do you remember do you remember what I was talking about with all that Beam tote whiskey that hit the market like 3 years ago?
Yeah, totally.
And it was like everybody was just buying that shit up.
And that's what's hilarious about it is that you all sit here and compare like the 10 brands or 20 brands that get these barrels, and I'm like, it's really the luck of the draw whatever shows up on the truck, and it has nothing to do with the brand. It just has to do with what shows up from the broker, because they send you a sample of the lot and you're like, well, there's probably 500 barrels in there and you have no idea what they taste like, so you just kind of get what you get.
So I was told that story from my buddy who picked up this barrel, who I guess talked to the owner there, and they said that was really the difference. Now, whether that was like misconstrued, I'm not sure. I would have to talk to the folks at River Roots, but yeah, they're definitely sourcing some great whiskeys, and this bottle is really, really good. So we'll see how it opens up. But.
Yeah, all the ones I've had have been fantastic. I've had them, obviously, we got a great relationship with Brian and Sealbox, and been fortunate enough to try theirs. OKI's, I've had theirs. The Bluegrass Distillers had a Elkwood Reserve or something. So, if you see a 15-year right now and it's distilled in Kentucky and you've never heard of the brand, it's probably the Wild Turkey Juice. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably the Buffalo Turkey, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah,
so,
but it is really, really exceptional whiskey. It just comes with a big price tag.
It is. And guys, just a heads up, if you can't make it out to River Roots, if Sealbox is releasing their second release this week. So a little bit right on, just in time for Christmas to spend all your money. You could grab another $300 bottle of Buffalo Turkey.
Ooh, yummy. And one last comment, I got to get a bottle of this Tanager now, because I've been wanting to get one. I need to see if my Total Wine has one.
Dude, you would love this Tanager.
Oh, yeah. But Nancy Fraley needs to go ahead and trademark that before all these other stupid brands start putting Tanager on their bottles, like cigar blend.
Oh my goodness. So let's see here. Too funny that you try. Yeah, I think everybody's trying to find this bottle. It's just so unique, and I think you for sure, because you really kind of want to learn the ins and outs, and you appreciate, especially what Nancy does. I always laugh when you're in the chat when she's on, and you just sit there and you listen. You're like, I should be going to bed, but yeah.
Oh, she's the best. She's the GOAT, and like I'm just impressed. Continue being impressed by everything she does, and I've learned, whether she knows it or not, I've watched many of YouTube videos of her and stalked all her information and soaked up a lot of information. So she's great.
All right, Nancy, you have a stalker.
That's right. Stage 5 clinger.
All right, guys, let's take a look at the bracket here. This is the full Blendageddon bracket. As you can see, week 1 and week 2. Our 4 blenders have already moved on. Now we're into week 3. Here's a close-up shot of week 3. We have Danny Lopez with Weekend at Old Bernie's, Jeff Gamble with Melancholy, Darren Clary with the Trilogy Trail Blender, Big Vic with Mean Churro Spice. That one scares me to death. And JG with Miley's Match. Now, just remember, JG was the second or the first runner-up in last year's Blendageddon. He lost to Darrell Stewart. But some people say that JG was the real winner because his blend was just simply, what was it? Wild Turkey Rare Breed and Sagamore Cast Strength Rye. That's all it was. And it made it all the way to the finals. And it did really well. And people still recreate that blend. They love that blend. So we'll see what JG has in store for us tonight. Now, we don't know what's in these glasses. These are kind of all been shuffled up. But me and Ryan are we're tasting the same whiskeys in the same order. So Nancy says, Ryan Cecil, I'm honored to have you as a stalker, my friend. I'm super excited about this episode.
Oh, that makes me blush.
Yeah,
as a stalker.
All right, so we're gonna do the same thing, Ryan. We're gonna taste through these one by one, start breaking them down, see if we can maybe call out even what's inside of these, and see how wrong we are later if we eliminate any of them. So,
Oh yeah, that's 100% guarantey on
all
that.
right.
Well, cheers, man. Thanks for having me back.
Dude, thanks for coming on. It was good to see you over the weekend. And by the way, my Pursuit United Rye pick is down to like this now.
Yeah, Roger, I ran in, or he messaged me like the day after, and he's like, "Yeah, that bottle got smoked."
Yeah, it did. That bottle got smoked.
It was really good.
Yeah. All right, man.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, just for you patrons watching, the Pursuit United Double Oaked Rye we did is ridiculous. So be on the lookout for that once Blake tells us it's ready to go. All right, first sample up.
On the nose, I'm getting like a, right out of the gate, like a gooey gumdrop, kind of cotton candy gooey gumdrop kind of nose.
So immediately I went just bubblegum, not gumdrop, but I thought it was definitely bubblegummy to me.
Yeah, it's got that gummy, that like chalky residue kind of thing, but a lot of by the way, for anybody watching, if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty with what Nancy Fraley does, watch the live stream that she was on with me, and we talked through all of her I was blessed and honored to taste through a bunch of her different cigar blends that she had sent me, including the first ever Joseph Magnus cigar blend, batch 1 she sent me to sample. And she dropped so much knowledge in that live stream. I highly recommend if you guys really want to kind of, she talks about Rancio and a lot of the other things that we talked about tonight. So definitely watch that. It was one of the best live streams I think I've ever been a part of. So 100%. Yeah. That one's the one I couldn't go to bed, and it was a late one, and I'm like sitting there with my Evernote taking notes as I'm watching it. But yeah, definitely made for a tired next day, but fantastic episode for sure.
Yeah, definitely gooey gumdrop here. There's definitely a confectionery bubble gummy thing going on here. It's kind of nice.
It is nice. Reminds me of, I just went to this candy store in Chicago with my kids, and there was like, it's, those ones where you grab a plastic bag and there's like, and it just kind of smells like that place. Just tons of sugar. And
is it like a little bit of like a taffy, a little bit?
I wasn't getting taffy. I'm going more like the rock candy, sugary.
Rock candy. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Rock candy. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like those. Anything that has like fruit and a lot of sugar and in a gel form. That's what I'm getting.
All right, let's give it a try, man. Here we go.
Yep.
Oh.
Interesting. Let's go back. The front palate is expected, but that finish really threw me off, threw me for a loop. Yeah, so a lot of like buttery brown sugar for me on the front, and then kind of like it's got like grape rock candy, but there's a little hint of like tiny hint of like a licorice kind of flavor, maybe. It's very faint.
I'm definitely getting the grape a lot. That's kind of the primary note that's hitting my palate. It's very grapey, which makes you think maybe there's a finished product in here, maybe some Buffalo Trace. Maybe there's some stag in here or something.
Yeah, it's definitely got like a porter sherry finish kind of vibes on the finish too.
The finish
almost
is
almost like a white port though.
Yeah, the finish is a little drying though too. It's actually drying the palate out quite a bit. So I feel like there's some good high proof or possibly some good age on this blend as well.
Yeah, I've been toying with some Pinot de Chiron stuff, and it kind of reminds me of finished in that a little bit.
What, the drying aspect of it?
Yeah, well, the fruitiness, that like grapey bright fruitiness, and then the drying kind of like almost, I don't know, I get like just a subtle hint of like licorice or something on the finish that
I'm getting blood orange on the nose now, like very very in your face. It's citrusy,
It's really well done. I mean, this
Yeah,
is
this is a fantastic blend already.
like summer. I could crush this. Like it feels like a really good summery pour.
Yeah, this is like straight. This is like the best Capri Sun ever.
100%. Just make sure straw in right.
Yeah, just put the straw in the hole. Don't squirt yourself, and yeah, let's do it. My goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's a good start. That's gonna be tough.
That's gonna be tough for the first one. All right, let's go to B here. Let's see what we got. A little bit more oak here.
Yeah, and there's like it's almost like a slight, like wet sawdust kind of note on there, like mustiness, but it definitely has like a lot of sweet oak as well.
Yeah, I could see the musty note that you're getting a little bit, but yeah, I get a lot of sweet oak.
Yeah, just there's I don't know why, and I'm not saying it smells like this at all, but it just kind of reminds me of like I have chickens in my backyard. I have 3 chickens, and like when you change out, like put in the fresh new like wood shavings and stuff, there's like that hint of that in there.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of good oak. It's just bringing back memories for me.
I'm sure whoever blend this wants to hear that their blend smells like chicken wood shavings.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying it's a bad. It's just a woody. It's a very woody note.
Yes, that woodiness.
That's why I say I shouldn't have said that, but it just reminded me of that fresh wood, I guess.
Hey man, things remind you of stuff. It is what it is. I was smelling that cowboy bourbon, and it was like it literally reminded me of walking into some kind of chocolatier fudge shop.
Yeah, that Texas whiskey's like to me, still Austin is the only Texas whiskey, and it blows my mind that all these Texas distilleries, most of them use pot stills, and they use like blue corn and red corn, which have like a heavy congener base to them already, and then they're pot stilling it, and it's like that twang just sits there, and it's like still Austin was the kind of bright minds probably with Nancy's guidance, like, okay, let's call them still this stuff, so big fan of theirs.
I'm not a fan of 2 on the palate.
This would be right up Kenny Sweet Oak's profile. It's got that.
But it's a sweet oak, but it has that. I always have trouble describing this flavor. Maybe you can kind of decipher it for me. But it's almost sour.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? It's like a sour, woody, almost. Maybe moldy is not the word. But there's something there that gives it like this older oak. Like there's just like an off-putting note to me with some of this stuff.
Yeah, I kind of described it the other day when I was sitting in Brian's office. We were drinking something. I think it was the Old Forester 117, the newest one. That was like 94 proof. I was like, it tastes like black oak tea. like a black tea that's been aged in oak. Like,
yeah, maybe.
That's kind of what I'm tasting here.
Yeah, because it's also bitter.
Yeah, it's bitter.
It's bitter. It's woody. It's a little bit kind of a moldy funk to it. Yeah, and I got it last week on another blend, but it was only on the finish. The front and the mid palate were great, but the finish actually brought that, and it was just really off-putting. So this one kind of has it. It's not as bad. It's a little bit sweeter.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. The front mid palate has some nice, great custardy notes.
Oh yeah,
some nice. And
I actually like the mouthfeel on number 2 over 1. I think number 2 is very velvety.
It is, yeah. It's very viscous, luscious on the palate, but that just woodiness and that like bitter oak tea kind of I'm getting is not to say this is bad. It's like if I got this in a bottle, I'd be like, well, it's pretty good. You know? But 1 was just so exceptional.
I don't think it beats 1. 1 is really good. So.
Yeah.
Does it taste like moldy churro? No, I don't think so. I'm scared of Big Vic's blend. I don't even know which one it is, but we'll see.
Hopefully not that one.
So Big Vic last year, he sent a blend I think he took Rare Breed and he threw Amburana chips in it.
Oh gosh.
And I'm like, what are you doing to my beautiful wild turkey? So
Don't put Ambrana in anything.
Oh my god. Okay. All right, let's go to number 3. See what we got here.
Oh, whoa.
Ooh.
Smells
Okay.
like a rum or something, almost.
That's funny you say that because I got maple syrup immediately.
Yeah, it's kind of got like a rum funk to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of brown sugar, maple
Yeah,
syrup.
molasses kind of flavor going.
Yep. Yeah,
It's
rum.
Penelope Havana.
Have you tried that? Have you tried that yet?
I haven't, and
Okay, yeah.
Because there's no secret, I hate Ambrana, and for the most part, any maple or honey finished whiskey, because I think they're all just flavored whiskeys, because whatever, people can argue it, whatever. But anyways, Danny, I was at the Penelope, and he's like, if you hated Rio, you're really gonna hate Havana.
I said in the news, the little news snippet I did, because it's 4-year-old whiskey. I'm like, don't worry about the age of the whiskey. I'm sure they're covering that up with a shit ton of finish, so don't worry about it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, rum finishing's so hard because rum barrels are abused to death. They're used several times in their ex cask, and then you try to finish whiskey. It's hard to get any rum fluence, and then sometimes I just don't like rum finished bourbons or rye, really.
I'm with you. Never really been a big fan of rum finishes.
But I rather. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm just gonna say I'd rather just drink the rum. So
yeah, 100%. But then adding the maple syrup component finish makes sense to me. It gives it some sweetness and whatnot. So
yeah, Nancy's asking about it. Yeah, so the new Havana from Penelope, Nancy, is a combination of rum and maple syrup finished whiskey. So
yeah, it's aged in rum barrels for a year, and then maple syrup barrels for a few months or something.
Yeah, another few months. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nathan nailed it in the chat. Foursquare over rum finish. Yeah, I'd just rather drink Foursquare.
100%.
Dude,
that's pretty good.
that tastes like a bowl of Fruit Loop cereal.
Yeah, it's got definitely the Fruit Loop cereal thing, and then I'm getting almost like a strawberry banana nut bread kind of flavor to it as well.
Is it maybe it's not Fruit Loops, maybe it's Trix.
Yeah.
There is a very definitive cereal this is reminding me of.
Dangerously delicious, or magically delicious, sorry. I forget.
That's Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is magically delicious though.
Trix it's Kicks for Kids. Trix is
I forgot what the Trix tagline was. What was the Trix tagline? Anybody in the chat know?
I'm sure somebody will
probably know what the Trix tagline was. Every cereal had a good tagline.
We need the guy on Rogan, they call him Fingers or whatever, Jamie, that looks up stuff for us while we talk.
Oh yeah, Silly Rabbit Tricks are for kids. Yeah,
Silly Rabbit Tricks are okay.
Yeah, Silly Rabbit Tricks are for kids. That's what it was. Yeah, this one's fun. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in here, but when you take me back to sitting in front of the TV watching Tom and Jerry eating cereal, that's kind of special right there.
Yeah, it's like you had a bowl of Trix, ate it, but then you have that milk with all the sugary flavor in it, and then you drink the milk. That's what the vibes I'm getting off of this.
There is a nice little oak punch on the back end. It's very sweet. Yeah, that's really unique. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I'm getting a little more of a dried apricot too.
Yep.
As it sits there, and
very fruit forward.
Yeah.
I think apricots are a really good call out. Almost like those trolley rings, those gummies.
Yep.
That you get. I feel like it has that type of texture too. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, that one's fun. I like that one.
That one's good. I'm seriously just writing Trick cereal apricot.
Trick cereal milk with Trolls gummies. It's like, how many gummies have we had tonight?
So Rod, before we get to the next sample, what's going on? What's new with Pursuit, man? What's going on?
Man, it's been a crazy year. Mostly due to Double Oak Bourbon, Double Oak Rye. It's just the success of it has blew my mind. It was 2 years of just trial and error with different stave finishes and whatnot. I've really leaned into stave finishing versus doing full barrel maturation for secondary aging. And, traditionally that's what's been done. And the stave finishing process has just you can really dial in different flavors, and I feel like we've gotten some home runs, and we just been slammed really. Like the brand's getting some traction, and we're really excited about what we did in 24, and really excited about next year. We got our downtown location. I probably talked about it last year and thought it'd be open this year, but that didn't happen, of course. But it will be open probably the first week of April, or second week of April. I just pray to God we get at least like 2 weeks before Derby of like doing soft opening so we can figure things out. But yeah, Whiskey Row location coming will be right across from Michter's. So if you're waiting in line for your Michter's tins and your $200 handle pulls, you can come across the street and get a nice cocktail or neat pours, or do the whole shebang, which is our barrel pick experience. You get to taste 6 barrels, pull the one you like and bottle it yourself. But man, things are beyond good. We're really blessed. We're excited about the brand and what we get to do on a day-to-day basis, and it's because of our customers and our loyal fan base, and our great friends in the industry. They've helped us along the way, and it's just all been a really fun year for us.
Jason Cruitt says, I just took a bottle of Pursuit Double Oak to the company holiday party, and everyone loved it. Dude, the first bourbon that you released, when it just tasted like straight up birthday cake, that thing was nuts.
Yeah, that was nuts. And to do our Double Oak bourbon, like I was, because traditionally everybody's done, and Nancy asked me to elaborate, so I'll elaborate a little bit.
Nancy, if Nancy asks you a question, you better answer it. So traditionally, Double Oak products, I looked at Woodford Reserve, and I'm like, look, Woodford's like a 1 million case brand, and I looked at the market and a lot of my friends, and I would say not whiskey geek drinkers drink Woodford Double Oak, and I'm like, well, how can we capture some of that market share? And I just didn't want to do what everybody else does, which is take a blend or a batch and then put it in a new char 3 or char 4 barrel, which that's fine. They're all fantastic, but I wanted to stand out. And the stave finishing. So like we work with Independent Stave. They have a stave finishing program that really Maker's Mark was kind of the R&D behind it, and for Maker's 46 and then their private select program. But they let us take it one step further. We met with them, we're able to taste all the standard stave profiles that they have. The staves are just the same exact wood that make up barrels. It's just that they not necessarily couldn't make up a barrel because they didn't fit a certain spec. So then they use these, I don't want to say reject wood, but they are rejected because they can't fit, into making a barrel. So instead of wasting that, they create these stave finishing products that you can really custom toast and char to, different specifications. And so it blows your mind, like how different, like, I'm just throwing out numbers to make it easy, is like a 30-second toast and a 3-minute char can bring out these flavors, or 20-second toast and 50-second char can do these flavors. And they've done all this research, and you can really dial in what kind of flavors you want to impact on your whiskey. And obviously not all of them translate to your exact whiskey, so you have to experiment with what you're working with their staves. And so we've worked with them. We have about 10 custom staves for us, and then we use about 5 or 6 that are just kind of like in their portfolio that anybody can use, but they work really well with our whiskeys. And the cool thing about stave finishing is you don't have to wait 6 months to a year to get extraction. You get extraction in 3 to 6 months because of the increased surface area, because you're not coming in contact with one side of the barrel, you're coming in contact with all surface area of the stave. And so it's just a really fun way as a blender and creative type that I'm just looking to pull different levers of flavor, and we're just doing it with whiskey and wood. And wood, there's so many variables of flavor you can get with different toast and chars, and that's really what it boils down to. The oak alternatives, as they call it.
Yeah, and I told them they need to change the name from oak alternative to like oak compliments, because alternative makes you think like it's not oak.
It makes it seem like it's fake wood or something like that.
Yeah, it makes you think it's fake wood, which it's not. Yeah. It's the exact. And I'm a traditionalist. I grew up in Bardstown, and I was like, these oak alternatives, that's BS, blah blah blah. You know.
Yeah,
But
I hear you.
then got to experiment with it, and I loved the flavors that it was producing, and so yeah, I went on a tangent there. But the double oak bourbon, how it got, I was just sitting on the patio drinking like a French Chardonnay. And I'm like, wow. And if you've had like a buttery Chardonnay,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like, wow, this thing's super buttery. So I call up our cooperages, and I'm like, what types of woods would a French winemaker use to impart this buttery profile into their Chardonnays? And they're like, well, these are the types of French oak, American oaks, this and that. And so experiment with a bunch of different ones. Landed on a 36-month seasoned French oak that we custom toast, and boy, did it just add
Dude, it works, man.
It does, and
that is probably the most buttery birthday cake whiskey I've had in a long time. It's kind of a modern dusty throwback in a way. It's really, really good.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because like National Distiller's Old Granddad is some of my favorite whiskey ever made, and it's because
and that was the dusty bottle that got me into Dusties. Was that
100%.
After I tasted that, I'm like, I got to get more of this stuff. So.
Oh, totally, and that's what I wanted to set out, was to try to recreate that profile, and that's what we were able to achieve using the stay finishing process. So
sure. Chase Simmons says, "What is Seguin Monroe?" They're basically, Seguin Moreau is it's not Monroe, it's Moreau. It's a high end barrel maker in California. They make everything by hand. There's a lot of automated barrel makers these days, but Seguin Monroe does everything by hand. So it costs a little bit more money to get a barrel from them, in return. But yeah, they make some damn fine barrels over there. So.
Amazing barrels.
And actually, and the pick that we did with Ryan, the Pursuit United Double Oaked, actually was a Seguin Moreau barrel. That's why it's so freaking delicious.
Yes, so, they make some of the best. They're freaking expensive though.
Yeah, they are expensive,
but so good. They're worth it.
Real quick, just a quick surprise for you guys. So Mash and Journey Whiskey Club. Speaking of Double Oaked, we did a pick here locally with a blender and a distiller called High Bank. Here in Columbus, Ohio. High Bank won, I think, Best American Whiskey Blend for like 3 years in a row. I forgot where, but we have like a handful of these bottles left. If anybody wants to grab one, here's the picture of it. So this is our Whiskey War Double Oaked. So this is triple finished. You can see how dark the whiskey is. It's a high rye. So this is a blend of bourbon and rye. We called it the Barrel of the Flies because literally 2 flies dove bomb into the glass that we all picked, which was kind of hilarious. So we call it the Barrel of the Flies. This is root beer, Dr. Pepper, in a glass. It's freaking ridiculous. I think, being something local from Columbus, normally our picks sell out all the way. This one almost sold out, but there's a few left. It's available through Sealbox. So if you guys want it right now, I'm going to drop the link here. That is the link and the password if you want to grab one right now. And yeah, there you go. Go try some Whiskey War Double Oaked and see how good that one is. Between this one and the one we did with Pursuit, we've got some great double oaked products that have kind of hitting. Proof on this is 114.4, so it's a great proof point. The whiskey is 7 years old, almost 7 years old, and yeah, that double oak maturation with that high rye mash bill just gives it a very, very unique, spicy, root beery, Dr. Peppery type of flavor profile. So
I'm a big fan of what they're doing at High Bank.
Yeah,
I'm terrible at names, but they came down and visited us, and they brought some whiskeys. And I'm usually not a huge pot still fan, but I feel like what they're doing is really special up there in Columbus. And it's an unfortunate thing. Like, and I hope people like Nancy and us and others. Obviously, I'm from Kentucky. I love Kentucky bourbon. I think it's so great, but there's so many freaking awesome distilleries outside of Kentucky making really great whiskeys, and High Bank's definitely one of those.
Yeah. Does it say page not found? Wait, hold on. Let me just do the link first. Hold on, guys. because it might have combined with the password. So let me do this. First, click that link, and then see if that works. And then if you need the password, I'll put it in there. So guys, just click on that. It should work because I'm getting to it. So see if that works. And if it asks for a password, I'll give you the password here. Which I believe is double oaked. I think it's DO mash and drum or something like that. Let me find it. And then we'll get moving on to the next. So is it asking for a password? Yep, need the password. All right, so here's the password. Password is DO mash and drum. Now, guys, this is a pre-order, so the bottles are actually sitting at High Bank right now. They still got to, once all the orders are done, they will send it to Sealbox and then ship out your bottles. So you might not see it for a little bit, but it'll be worth the wait. All right, let's go into the D, as we call it.
The D blend.
The D blend. Oh, there's definitely a finish on here. I think there is.
That is wild. There's like a...
I'm getting like golden raisin, not the dark raisin, but you know, like the green raisins.
Like the... Not... Well, they're all California raisins, but...
With the white grape raisin.
Yeah. There's also, too, like this... It's almost like a spring candle, kind of like a lot of floral, like
it's floral. It's
like
very
floral and like waxy kind of notes. I don't know, like a candle's burning almost, like not smoky, but like that like springtime candle kind of sense.
Yeah, it smells like a cotton fresh.
It smells like a Bath and Body lotion.
It's cotton fresh. Whiskey Nancy Fraley says, Ryan, I agree. I have to admit that I prefer column distillation. As someone who has been in the craft space for nearly 20 years, it took me a while to admit it.
Well, to be fair, you know, column distillation is a very expensive upfront cost. And too, a lot of these craft distilleries are not just making bourbon, you know, they're making other things, and where column still makes sense. It's so versatile. But for bourbon production, where you're getting... And people don't want to hear this because I know where if people make it, it makes it magical. But 80% of your flavor is coming from the wood and not the distillation. And so you need the distillate to be as clean as possible to let the wood do its magic.
Nick Combs says, crazy timing. A buddy gave me a blind of your double oaked rye release at the distillery tonight, and it was fantastic.
Well, that is crazy timing.
Yeah, I mean, the double oaked rye is ridiculous. So.
He got a bottle of your pick?
No, I think he's talking about
our double. Gotcha. Oh, cool. Yeah, the nose on this is great. I like it.
I think the palate carries some of that floral quality as well, which makes me think there could be some rye.
It has some like Four Roses vibes.
Yeah. You literally just said it before I did. I was just gonna say there's a Four Rosy vibe to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%. I've been saying that a lot lately. 100%. It's like a bad
100%,
habit.
100%. I know I have this habit of like when I'm on podcasts or stuff, when somebody says something that I agree with, I go, absolutely. And I feel like I sound like Rocky Balboa when he's like, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's terrible. Big Vic says, that's my blend. He's saying it's his blend. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this tastes like a really solid OESK barrel.
I agree.
Because
I'm not really getting that there's a little bit of like that floral component to it, that florality that it has, but I love the spice. I love the dense quality of it. It's a little bit fruity. There's a quick like nectarine, peachy little thing kind of in the mid palate. I'm kind of finding.
Yeah, but there's also this really pleasant like cookie dough vibe on it too. Like in the mid, like the front mid palate. It's like really rich and sweet, and then it explodes into those nice,
Yeah.
vibrant fruit spice flavors.
Yeah, it definitely blooms. The cookie dough is a great call out. Yeah, it's definitely there. That's really good too. Shit. We have some tough blends here tonight.
Except for B. Sorry, B. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry, B. Sorry, B. A, C, and D though. You're in it to win it.
Yeah, those are solid.
All right, let's go to the last one here. Letter E. Let's see what we got.
This has a ton of oak on it for me.
Yeah, me too. I'm scared it's going to give me that woody bitter tea note again.
Yeah.
It smells it. Yeah, the sweet oak on it I think is really prevalent.
Yeah, but it's very tannic on the nose.
Yeah, I almost got like a spiky ginger note almost too.
Yeah, ginger is a great call.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it smells like, and only because I was messing around with cocktails for my wife's Christmas party, and like I was making a apple cider, but like those mulling spices, like when you get them in a pack, it's like so dense of a smell, and it kind of reminds me.
It's actually really funny you say that because I tasted it and I feel like I get that on the palate. And it's probably just you literally just putting that in my head. But when you said mulling spices,
yeah,
I feel like it tastes like that. Like apple,
yeah, it's
cinnamon,
like
Dutch apple pie, cinnamon for sure.
You know, it reminds me of like a really good like Woodinville barrel.
Yeah. Hello, Crack the Dawn. This is the password for the link. If anybody missed it, I'm putting that in the chat again. It's capital D-O Mass Drum. So double oak Mass Drum is the password to get into that, to get into the seal box link.
The finish on it though has got a ton of that oak. Definitely is very drying, but it's also very like a little bit more ethanol on the finish on this one.
Yeah, I think it's definitely this probably drinks the hottest out of all of them.
Mm-hmm. Have you tried this year's BTAC?
Just I only have William Llewellyn and Stag. That's it.
Gotcha. It kind of I'm not saying it tastes like Stag, so hold the phone. But it has, you know, just how Stag has that really oaky, overpowering, like boldness to it. This has kind of some of that resemblance.
Yes.
But with that,
I'm getting wild turkey on this blend.
Really? Okay.
I think I'm getting turkey. I think.
I don't know. There that Dutch apple pie note's so prominent that I don't normally get that on turkey.
I'm not saying it's fully turkey.
Well, yeah, it is a blend. Yeah.
I think there's a little turkey in there's something very reminiscent of turkey in the blend. I could be wrong with I feel like there's something familiar there.
But not the bud turkey.
Not
or whatever you want to call it.
Not the buff key. None of that.
The buff key.
Yeah, the buff.
Yeah, that buff key stuff. It is amazing how fruity that stuff is.
It's so fruity and sweet. It's crazy. It's candy.
Yeah.
I can see why people love it, man.
Oh, totally. But I could see why turkey didn't want to use it because it was so off profile, you know?
Yeah, if that was the case, then it is off profile. I could see why they're like, we're not taking that. Go sell it out in the black market.
Yeah, because you taste like that stuff against like Russell's 15, and it's like they're not even in the same.
Yeah, they're not even in the same. Yeah, they're not even in the same realm. I like this one. I like this one too.
I like it.
The finish is not great.
Yeah, I like it. I just don't like the other three. Just really wowed me, but I'm not. There's some really, really good qualities. I just feel like the other three, which I think was A, C, and D, were just so much more balanced and just overall better. You know, I'm nitpicking here because we got to reduce it down from 5 to
Yeah,
1.
I mean, we could taste through them again real quick here, go through it.
Yeah.
But and make kind of our final. Let's eliminate 2, get our top 3, and then we can figure out
the
which
nose
one.
on the first one's so damn good after going through all these.
Oh my God, you're so right. Holy shit. Damn. That's really good.
That is special.
God, C still smells like freaking cereal. It's amazing. What the hell is that? I really hope in one of these blends there's some like Pursuit United shit in here. That'd be hilarious.
I doubt it.
Damn. Straight up trick cereal. The milk. The after.
Bee's
the
gotten
after.
better. After going there, Bee's gotten better, but still has that just bitter oak like tea bag kind of flavor.
Yeah, I'm good. Do you want to just eliminate B? I'm kind of ready to eliminate that one. All right.
B, unfortunately,
unfortunately, B just doesn't have it. It's just that finish on it. Now, quite possibly, what normally happens is these guys will blend these and they don't have that finish on it when they first blend it, but then it sits a little bit and then that happens, and we see that all the time. The longer it sits, I mean,
that's what I want a question for Nancy, because like I've found this like to happen to me. Like, so you come up with a batch, and like for most of our batches, we're not as crazy as letting them slow proof for a year or whatever they do, but we'll let them sit for, I don't know, probably 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, and you taste it after it's set there. And I've actually done we will create blends and then open up, it's in a stainless steel tote. I'll open up the lid and let it open air kind of for a day or two, just kind of release some of the ethanol. But then it's like you'd put it in, you'd put it through like we don't do chill filtration, but you do just like simple filtering with a sock filter. And I feel like that changes. And so it's like hard to like create a blend, and then you have to like taste it through chill, or not the chill filter, but the filtration. And it's like it may be I'm over analyzing, but I'm just curious what she thinks, from blend to bottling, how much changes from being in a tote to going through, the filtering, and then, into the bottle, and like all the different reactions that are happening. I'm curious what she thinks on that, but it's probably too long for her to type in a chat message. So,
thanks, Nancy. Bon appetit. My apologies, Jens. It's dinner time here on the West Coast, and a late one at that. I'll go back and watch Who for One for Night. Everyone have a great holiday season.
Well, we'll get that answer later then.
Yeah, no, she just said, Ryan, what kind of filtration are you using? That can have a lot to do with it.
Yeah, we're just using like 0.5 micron filters, just like a sock canister filter. Not like plate filtration or obviously non-chill filtration, but like a 0.5 micron filter.
I love that this live stream right now is improving your whiskey.
I know. That's what I'm
for. Oh, shit. All right. So, yeah, just drink through them, and I think A is definitely a contender.
A is so good.
A is so good.
But C is really good, too.
I really love C. D has that Four Roses thing. E, to me, that finish is just falling off, unfortunately.
Yeah, the finish on E it's just, I don't know. I'm very sensitive to over oak things, and I just feel like E is really over oaked.
I don't even think to me it's not over oak. To me, it's just it's getting more flat the more I drink it. Big Vic, Jason, did you find the churro? I don't know. We'll see if we found it.
Churro sounds good. Some dipping sauce. Man, the nose on C is great too. Man, this is gonna be tough. Really tough.
All right, so let's make the decision here. We're going to eliminate E just because the finish is just okay. So Nancy says, "Here's your answer, man. Might be too much for you. Perhaps use a larger one, like a 5 to 10 micron. When I want to keep the fatty acids and keep mouthfeel, 5 to 10 is the way to go."
We did use a 5, but then we were having like sediment, in the bottles, and so we were like, "Oh, we got to go to a 0.5." But all right, that's great advice. I love that. That's what I wonder. I'm curious in the chat if people do you care if they're like when we bottle it, there's not, but when it sits, some of that char, like the very fine particles, will settle in the bottle, and there's a black kind of layer.
I like particles in my whiskey. That's the good stuff.
So it doesn't bother you all. I'm curious if it bothers. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but
yeah, it might bother some people. I mean, I think there's something to be said about a clean glass of whiskey cosmetically. I mean, I think some people do like that. Some people may have an aversion to it, but I don't mind the char. I mean, if your audience are whiskey geeks, I don't think they're going to mind the char.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nancy. I know you got to get to dinner, but love the advice. Maybe a 2 micron. Yep. We need to try that.
Yeah, try that. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Nancy. Enjoy dinner.
So weren't you? I thought I saw an email today that you were looking for maybe some help in the in your new space in Louisville. Is that you guys are looking for help over there?
We are, yes. We're looking for a general manager to run pretty much everything downtown because Kenny and I have -10 experience in running bars and restaurants and retail. So we're trying to find someone that's hungry, also talented, that wants to grow in a really young, exciting startup and just have fun, so we're looking for a GM to help run our downtown space. And
so if any of you out there know anybody or are interested, let the guys know. I wish, I have a little experience in that space, and I just wish I had the time to do it, but I wish I could. I would love to do that, but
yeah, you would have to be working right now.
Yeah, and I would have to be living in Kentucky, obviously. So
well, we'll have a really nice podcast studio with the 3 camera setup and all the mics and everything, so you can just stream from there.
That's pretty cool.
But that's what's gonna be fun about it. So if you want to come down, we can do. We can get in the podcast booth. We can invite your fans, our fans, and we can.
I like that idea.
Show, so it'll be really fun.
Nathan says, "Does it come with a drill and barrel access?"
It does on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah. One last thing. I don't think I would want charcoal chunks in the whiskey, but you definitely want those fatty acids. It's a fine balance between the two. With that, over and out. Nancy, go eat some dinner. We love you. And happy holidays, Nancy.
They're definitely not chunks. So it's like...
It's still kind of chunky. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this will be terrible. You can't see it in this on camera, but there's just very, very fine char particles that kind of collect at the bottom, because I was playing with the 0.5 versus 5 in this bottle.
No, I mean I've seen it. I know what you're talking about. I mean, for me, I don't mind it, but I could see why people would.
Yeah,
it is what it is. They're like, because people will look at it and be like, "There's dirt in my glass" or something. Yeah, not knowing that it's actually barrel char bits.
Right, 100%. Oh, damn it! I said it again.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, so we're putting A through, right?
I don't want to say 100%, but yes.
You kind of said it when you didn't say it. 100%.
Yeah.
All right, A's going through to the next round. Whoever the hell blended A, it's fantastic. So now it's between the Fruity Pebbles and the Four Rosy Floral one. One of these two have to go.
The Fruity Pebbles milk or the
Fruity Pebbles milk or the spring candle.
The spring candle. That's right. The Bath and Body Works lotion.
Big Vic, did you get your stag pick? Vic, you suck, man. I'm gonna play this for you, Vic, because this is what happens.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
That's basically how I felt. Real quick story. Big Vic called me the day Sazerac was doing one of their selects, and he goes, "Yo, bro, guess what? I want a single barrel from Buffalo Trace. We got a stag, yo. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it with your group. I'm gonna give it to your group. I'm like, are you serious? Like, yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna fly you out, pay for your hotel. Thank you so much. Love it. Blah blah blah. 10 minutes later, he doesn't even call me back. He texts me and he goes, yo, bro, I read the email wrong. We didn't win shit.
Oh man.
He goes, everybody got that email. It wasn't just me. It was like a marketing email. It wasn't even a winning email. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nancy's asking about flocculation. No, I don't believe that's it because all of our stuff's 108 or higher proof. And so it's not like, I think it's just like very fine barrel char char sediments kind of getting through.
All right, I need a dictionary. Flocculation, and then she adds in saponification. I need to learn all these terms.
Well, yeah.
I think I'm gonna get flagged for saying flocculation.
It's not flatulation. It's flocculation.
All right, so I'm between C and D here. Where are you leaning?
Gosh. That's so hard because they're so different.
I really like that Twix one. the Trix cereal.
Yeah, I mean, I got a sweet tooth, so.
Ooh. I don't know, man. D has the finish though.
Oh, I know. D is definitely like a brighter, bolder, like more robust whiskey. C is just so like.
This is what happened. This is what happened last week. We were between two really good blends, and we were trying to like go between what we would want to drink more often versus like what's the most unique. But ultimately, it comes down to like what's the blend that you would rather have in your glass most of the time versus the other one.
I don't know. D's so damn good too. This is tough.
I feel like D has more going on. As much as I love C and that trick cereal note, it's super sweet. But I think I'd rather drink D because it has such a nice finish to it. I don't know. Where are you at? You have a sweet tooth, so you might be leaning C.
I know. I'm thinking your question like, what would you drink more of?
Like C is freaking. I could drink a whole bottle of that in one night. It is crushable.
No doubt. It's so delicious and.
Yes, I said I'd rather drink the D.
That's what she said.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, this is tough. So A's in.
I don't know, man.
All right. Well, let these sit a bit. We'll come back to it. But let's find out.
I feel like C and we'll let them sit for some.
Yeah, let them sit for a second. Let's find out who B and E belong to. I'm gonna break out the results. Here is when the blenders start. You know, this is when the clenching of the assholes begin because they get nervous. Here we go. Clenching of the butt cheeks.
Right, please don't maybe be.
All right, here we go. All right, letter B. The one with the funky finish belongs to Jeffrey Gamble with his melancholy blend. Jeff,
I can see that one was very depressing. No,
yeah. Oh man, that's good. That's tragic, but good. Jeffrey Gamble. Sorry, man. That blend just did not. Something turned, I think. Nancy has talked about this too when she's been on the channel, how it's things that sit a little bit. It may not be what you thought when it sits a little while, then all of a sudden things start changing. But yeah, dude.
That's spatulation.
Spatulation came into play, I think.
I could definitely listen to Smashing Pumpkins drinking that.
Jeff, I either I lost the envelope or I didn't get an envelope from you with the blend components. So if you can message me with what was in your blend, Jeff, please let me know. Just send it to me on Discord if you can. I know you're in the Discord. So yeah, let me know what was in that blend. Let's see. And then we had letter E. Lee was very good. E was very good front of the palate, mid palate, but unfortunately the finish just died. And that one belongs to Danny Lopez with Weekend at Old Bernie's.
Okay.
All right.
Love it.
So did I say that was the one that had turkey in it?
You thought it had turkey. Yep.
All right. So I have his envelope. We're going to find out. So I have Danny Lopez's right here. Oh, here's Gamel's blend right here. 50% Hardin's Creek 211, 30% ECBP C923. Really? And 20% Russell Reserve 13. Jesus.
Wow. Dang. Some heavy hitters there.
Yeah, he put heavy hitters in that blend. I think that that old C923 oak, I think it got funky on you, man. Unfortunately. He said he thought E was mine. Wait, how is that blend bad? Yeah, it went bad, man. All right, let's see what was in Danny Lopez's blend. And we have... Holy hell. Yeah, there was no wild turkey in here at all.
I didn't think so, but...
Larceny Barrel Proof A124. Old Elk Double Wheat 2022. Okay. Bernheim Barrel Proof A224. ECBP B522. Traverse City Whiskey Cherry 2024. ECBP C922. Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond 7-year, and then more ECBP B524. I think what happened is that double wheat, I think, absolutely tamed down the whole entire blend.
Yeah. I mean, that was a spray and pray.
Yeah.
Those.
I think that wheater, because I've tried to blend wheaters before, and a wheater, even if you just add a drop of it, can completely kill a blend. It's tough blending with wheaters. So that means the last three are, in no particular order, Big Vic's Mean Churro Spice, JG's Miley's Mash, and Darren Clary's Trilogy Trailbender. Trailbender. Okay.
I love these names.
I know. It's amazing. Okay. Blends will also turn out absolutely nothing like you would think they will be based on what's going in it. Yeah, and I can
definitely agree with that.
Yeah, and I think the more they sit, like Nancy was saying, that she lets a blend sit like a year before she releases it.
Yeah, she has rich clients. I don't have that time.
Yeah, nobody has that type of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we already put A through, so we won't say who A is yet. We have to figure out we're putting through either C or D.
Yeah, this is tough because they're both really good.
Gosh. C is just straight up candy cereal deliciousness, and D is spice, floral, and rich. I
know that's why they're polar opposites. That's what's so tough about it.
Yeah, they're completely different.
I mean, okay, here's my thoughts on it. So C is something I would probably drink the most of, but D is something like if my Whiskey Geek fans came over, I would present to them.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I think as much as I love C and how sweet it is, I think D is the one I would want to go back to and drink more of.
Yeah, D is definitely more complex. I mean, it's a big, bold, vibrant whiskey. C is just so... I hate not moving it on because it's so good, but...
Hey, man, that's the unfortunately, the luck of the bracket. You run into a tough bracket. That's what happens.
It's like fantasy football. You just play and play.
And all your fucking players get injured like mine do.
Yep.
Yeah, C is delicious, and I want to know what's in it because it's I want to make this like 100. I want to make a gallon of this shit.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna go with the D. You agree with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, no wild cards in this, guys. There's just too many blends. I'm not adding wild cards to the mix. It is what it is. So let's find out who is who. So letter C belongs to. I think these guys know who their blends are based on the. I would hope they know who their blends are. Letter C belongs to JG and Miley's Mash. The runner up from last year, JG, coming up with a freaking tricks hitter. That means Big Vic with his mean churro spice moves on to the next round. Holy shit, Big Vic. That is delicious, whatever the hell that blend is. It's really, really good, man. Well done.
Yeah.
On top of
know
that,
what C is, though.
On top of that, letter A belongs to Darren Clary with the Trilogy Trailbender. So Darren Clary and Mr. Big Vic is moving on to the next round. JG, we're about to find out what's in your blend because I gotta know. Let's go here. Let's see what. Oh my God, he always makes like a puzzle. All right.
It's like the Riddler.
Yeah. So he wrote, Jason C., I was wanting to build off my last year's blend and still make something that others could more easily create. If the Cedar Ridge is unattainable for some, then I think that any rye finish in port at a similar proof would be a good substitute. Thanks again for putting on this competition. His blend is as follows. 85% of the blend is Milo's Mash. So his original blend that he did last year, which consists of 60% Wild Turkey Rare Breed and 40% Sagamore Rye Cast Strength. So that blend ended up at about 114, just under 115 proof, 114.96. Then he added 15% of the Cedar Ridge Port Cask Finish Straight Rye at 105 proof.
Wow.
So that's his blend, and that shit made up straight freaking trick cereal. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm surprised with how much rye's in it.
Bruzel says, man, it looks like he'll just let anyone on the stream. What's up, Bruzel? What's up, Bruzel?
I'll say 1,000% TJ.
I keep TJ. I know I kind of messaged you. I would love to collab soon, man. Let's do something together, a live stream or something after the holidays, man. We'd love to do something together. Love your stuff.
He only does stuff on an Osmo, so you gotta follow him around.
That's true. I'm gonna have to chase him down in like a liquor store and like follow his ass.
Oh yeah, I love TJ. He's a great dude.
He really is.
Yep.
GW Gavin says they got beat by a blend that tastes like cereal milk. Great. Hey Gamel, on paper, your blend probably should have won, but it ended up tasting like moldy black tea. Sorry, man.
That's the fascinating thing about blending. It's like people think it's like BS and so simple. It's like, oh, just put 4 of the best whiskeys you've had this year in a blend, and it's got to work. And
let's congratulate Darren Clary on his Trilogy Trail Blender blend. That thing was easily the best one of the night. So
that's A.
That was A. Yeah.
Yeah, A was
an easy, we're copping that. That thing is coming through, man. So
A should get a bye next round. No, I'm kidding.
Mash and Drum Bourbon Hunt coming 2025. No, I don't know if I could do the bourbon hunting thing. I don't have I just do it all. I don't have a crew. Maybe I could find a way to do it with like a camera, have a really weird angle. You can see up my Italian nose. It'll be perfect. All right. So congrats to Big Vic and to Darren Clary making it to the second round. Let's take a look at, I think the upcoming, which will be, now I don't know if I'm going to be going live on New Year's Day, like I mentioned. So we'll have to see, but let's take a look ahead to the week 4 matchup. We have Long Ride, which I don't know who sent that. Whoever sent that blend in named it, but didn't tell me who it was from.
I like it. Anonymous.
Yeah. So if anybody watching submitted a blend called Long Ride, please let me know who you are, because there was no name attached to the envelope, nothing on the label. I don't know who the hell's it is. Run DMC Kentucky is in there with Hard Times. Darrell Stewart, the defending champion from last year, is going to be in week 4. Wise Guy Stu, the amalgamation of Einstein, and then Eric Sawyer, who won 2 years ago, Blendageddon. Like it says there, don't call it a comeback. So there you go, guys. Week 4 is going to be epic. Ryan, what are you guys doing around the holidays, man?
Well, a lot. I hate to say this, but I'm ready for Christmas to come and go. I have divorced parents, so it's like you got to split time between them and then the in-laws and all this stuff. So it's like, and then the holiday parties, my kids are in dance and basketball, so there's like Christmas tournaments going on. But after Christmas, we are taking a family vacation down to Florida, so I'm excited for that, just to get a week away from Kenny and all the. No, I'm kidding, but doesn't Kenny give you like a new spreadsheet for Christmas? Oh yeah, we've been doing tons of spreadsheets for next year, so a lot of V lookups and all that stuff. So
yeah, V lookups and pivot tables for Christmas in your stocking.
Yep. Oh, yeah. It's his spreadsheets blow my mind. Even our bankers can't understand them, they're like, we're gonna give you a loan because we can't even understand these spreadsheets.
I work with someone like that just does like really weird shit in Excel just because they can and they know how to do it. Yeah, that's
Kenny, and so I'm thankful he has that skill because I do not. But I know how to taste whiskey, so that's. But yeah, holidays they're crazy, but they're always fun. So. What about you? What you got going on holidays?
We have a Christmas Eve at Kim's sister's house. She met Kim and my mom at the pick, which was awesome. Actually, my mom asked about you. She's like, "Oh, how's that guy that we did the pick with? Is he? You saw him? Is he coming on the channel?"
That was in the trailer with.
Yeah, she was in the trailer in your trailer whiskey
redneck rick house.
Redneck rick house. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
so anyway,
awesome.
Yeah, so she loves that rye. Actually meant to give her a sample today. She's come stopping by tomorrow. I'll give her a sample to drink at work maybe. Yeah, Kim. So we're doing Christmas Eve at Kim's sister's house. We're actually going to Kim's mom's house this Sunday up in Ashland, Ohio. So we'll do Christmas with her Sunday, and then Christmas Day we'll be here at my place. I'm cooking filet mignon, baked potato.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna do a little squingili salad, maybe some. I'm doing some homemade raviolis. It's going to be pretty epic. I want to cook like crazy on Christmas, so I'm into it.
Yeah, I just picked up I didn't pick it up. I told my father-in-law, I was like, go get some prime beef tenderloin from Costco and I'll cook it for everyone.
All right, so before you go, Ryan, I'm going to hit you with a quick top 5. We do this every night, and here we go. All right, Ryan, give me your top 5 Christmas movies / specials of all time.
Oh, boy. Okay. All right. Does it have to be in sequential order or just name 5 of them?
You can name 5, but if you have a specific number 1, then yeah, name it.
All right. Well, Home Alone 1 and 2 are definitely in there. Absolutely love both.
Dude,
of those.
I think Home Alone 2 is pretty underrated. I think it's a great sequel.
It's a great sequel. It's so good. And the Talk Boy, I had to go get one as soon as I saw it when I was a kid. It's like that.
Yeah, so that was just made for the movie, and then after the movie, the popularity of it, Tiger Electronics actually made that, and then they brought it out afterwards, after the movie, because it was so popular. That thing retailed for $19.99.
Oh, Jesus, that's so cheap.
I know.
Now I got to buy my kids Xbox for $500 billion.
Shit. Yep.
Christmas Vacation is always
I'm
awesome
with you
for me.
Yep.
I actually love Elf. I think it's so damn good.
Mm-hmm.
It gets even better as I get older.
Yeah, it's so timeless somehow,
And I just absolutely love Bad Santa. Like, it's so funny.
That Santa is so underrated. I think it's so
Thurman
good.
Merman and
Yeah,
like, do you want me to make
so
some
good.
sandwiches? The grandma is like, it's so good. So those
I
are
read somewhere that he actually got drunk for one of the scenes, like actually drunk, so he could, because he wanted to perform it drunk.
yeah.
So-
And he drinks old granddad the entire time.
Yeah, I totally can agree with that. I think A Christmas Story for me is up there for sure because it's
Yeah, that's solid too.
yeah, I do watch that like every Christmas, but I only watch it on Christmas Eve. I do not watch it any other night because I
Well,
wait.
Christmas Day, it's on like 24 hours. Isn't it?
Yeah,
On some channel?
that's basically when I watch it. I have certain movies I save to like when it gets like right at Christmas or Christmas Eve. So
Yeah.
all right, guys. With that, I want to say good night. I want to say wish you all a very Merry Christmas. We went a little overtime tonight because I will not be live next week because it will be Christmas Day on Wednesday night next week. But to all of you out there, to all of your families, all your friends, all your kids, especially, have a very, very Merry Christmas. Have a safe, happy, and healthy one. Spend those times with those families, everybody, your family, your friends. Crack up with some great whiskeys. Share some good stuff with everybody. Ryan, I want to thank you for coming on. You've become a really great friend of mine, especially in the whiskey community. Love talking to you. Love your expertise and coming on. I've learned a lot from you guys. So I just want to say thank you, man.
Dude, likewise. You're my boy, and I don't know if I have expertise, but love what you're doing. Always love hanging out with you. I've gotten to see you. It's been awesome. I've gotten to see you more this year than I have in years past, which has been really fun. So, yeah, likewise what you said, and just make moments, those memorable moments with your friends and family. You got those special bottles. Don't just let them sit on the shelves. Open them up with your friends, create memories, and that's what bourbon's all about. It's not about proof or age or this or that. It's just sharing it with the people you love, and that's what's so magical about this community and this hobby. And so I just hope everybody embraces it. And yeah, Merry Christmas to all. Love you, Jason, and hope everyone has a great holiday.
Yeah, love you too, buddy. And guys, if you have not tried any of the Bourbon Pursuit Double Oak stuff, go grab some as soon as you can when you find it. Cheers. See you in a couple weeks here live. And congrats to the winners and Merry Christmas. See you guys soon. Cheers.
Toodles.